Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about Linux operating system, and this video is for those of you who want to learn cybersecurity, you want to learn networking or network security, or you are a Windows or a Mac user and you want to learn how to use Linux operating system properly. So what will I go over in this video? In this video, if you're using Windows or Mac, you will learn how to install the Linux operating system, and you learn how to navigate your system using Linux operating system. So let's quickly do a quick background. What's an operating system? An operating system is really a piece of software that sits between you, or you the user, and your computer. So it's the operating system that is responsible for everything that the computer can do or cannot do. Now we have different kinds of operating system. We have Windows, which I'm currently using, and we have Linux, and we have Mac OS, we have Unix. Okay, but what makes Linux operating system unique is the fact that really a lot of systems are using Linux. And when I say system, I mean cloud systems, networking systems, and Linux is free. It's a free operating system. It's an open source and it's free. Okay, so these are some of the things that makes Linux operating system unique. And we have a very large ecosystem of software developers, network engineers, cybersecurity professionals that are using Linux operating system. And we have servers that run on Linux. I mean, even this you watching this video on YouTube, we have a whole servers dedicated to this video actually playing, and those servers run on Linux. Okay, so this is why learning Linux is important. Now, if you are coming from a Windows background, you need to understand something, that we have two ways of communicating with operating systems. Okay, we have the graphical user interface, which is what you see right here on my screen, and we have the command line interface, or CLI, or some people call it command prompt, or CMD. That is for the Windows environment. Remember, I'm going to dive into Linux soon and how you can install it on a Windows computer and learn how to use Linux. Okay, and using something we call WSL on Windows. Now, before we dive into that, let me show you, refresh your memory really. If you are on a Windows computer like me, you want to create a new folder, you just right click your mouse and you go to new, and you see folder here. So this will actually create a folder for you on Windows, and you can call this folder whatever you want. So let me just call this folder cyber. Okay, and inside this cyber folder, you can open it by double clicking on it, and I can create a new folder inside cyber folder by going to new and going to folder and going and calling this, let's say, business, right, for instance. So I have business folder, which is inside cyber folder. If I click here and if I click here, you can see the path. So this is the path of this folder: C, user dev, desktop, cyber, right? And we have business inside. So you can actually create a file. For instance, let's say you want to create like a text file, you can do new and you can say text document, and let's call this plan, for instance. Okay, plan. So now this is me communicating with the operating system, the Windows operating system, using the graphical user interface, GUI. Okay, or GUI, that's what it is called. The same way I'm communicating with the Windows operating system using GUI, graphical user interface, I can also communicate with the operating system using the CLI, command line interface. It's also called CMD or command prompt. So let's access the CMD on Windows. Remember, this knowledge is important. I'll type CMD, I'll click on Windows. Let me do that again. My Windows key, type CMD, and this command prompt will come up, and I'll run as administrator. So now I want to create a folder on my desktop, but the first thing I need to do is actually locate my desktop on my command prompt, and the way I do that is using a command called cd. So what I'm typing into this CLI is, they are called commands, right? And if I type cd, it means I want to change directory. That's what cd means. And I want to change directory to my C, and in my C I want to go to users, and I want to go to dev, and I want to go to desktop. If everything is correct, I will now find my way on desktop. Now I'm currently on my desktop, and I want to create a new folder. I want you to watch the screen of my desktop and see what happens. So I will do md, which is make directory, and I'll call this directory what Cybersecurity. Okay, and enter. Watch. You see, now this is my new Cybersecurity folder. I've created it right here from my CMD. The same way I'm interacting with my CMD, I can actually interact with, I can do the same thing on a Linux operating system, which is why we are here. I just want to show you that these things, they are possible on any kind of operating system you use. So on any kind of operating system you use, you can communicate with the operating system using graphical user interface or the command line interface. Now there are some limitations that you can do. There are limited things you can do when you are using graphical interface, and there are some things you can do on command line interface that, in fact, with the CLI you have no limitation. There's a lot of things you can do. There are lots of commands that I can show you on the CMD, but I have a full video, and I'll probably make another video on this CMD I'm talking about. But so that's that with Windows graphical user interface and CLI. On the Linux side of things, right, we have the Linux graphical user interface and the Linux terminal. The terminal is exactly what this CMD is to Windows. So the same way you use CMD on the Windows, the same way you use terminal on Linux operating systems. So let's look at the first thing. How can you install Linux operating system on your Windows computer? So I'm using a Windows and I have Linux installed, and you'll be learning with what? Linux. So let's see. The first thing you need to understand is Windows has something we call WSL. Alright, and I'm going to show you WSL quickly. This is WSL Windows. So I'm going to just search for this and how to install Linux on Windows with WSL. Just click on this link and you will get exactly what you need to do to install Linux. This is the command you need to do, WSL --install. And once you install this, it will by default install a Linux distro or a Linux distribution called Ubuntu. Now, what do we mean by Linux distro or Linux distribution? The Linux itself is an operating system that comes from a Linux kernel, okay? And the Linux kernel was developed by a man named Linus Torvalds, okay? Linus Torvalds. I hope I'm saying that correctly. But this guy developed the Linux kernel in what year? Maybe can't remember the year exactly. But so other people, because it's free and because it's open source, other developers can now go to that Linux kernel and create a new version of Linux operating system. So I want you to understand that. So Ubuntu is one version. We don't call it version, we call it distribution, okay, or distro. Kali Linux is another. And when you are talking about InfoSec, information security, we make use of Kali Linux more because it has a lot of tools that come built in with that helps you with things like penetration testing, and so many information security stuff, right? Kali Linux comes embedded with these tools. We also have Ubuntu, we also have CentOS, we also have Red Hat, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we have different distros, but everything stems from this kernel that I'm telling you. Okay, so two things came about that two things happened that really brought about the development of Linux operating system. We have the GNU project, and the Linux kernel. Okay, so that's how Linux was born. But we're not here to learn how Linux was born. We're not here for history. We're here for serious practicals on how can you use Linux, no matter the platform you are coming from, and I'm going to also use the opportunity to show you some things that will make you understand cybersecurity. Let's say you are interested in getting into cybersecurity or information security, some things in Linux that will make you understand the application of things like least privilege and so on, okay, using the Linux file system. So let us get into the meat of this whole thing. So once you install wsl-install, how do you install it, or how do you do this? What you need to do is you need to open up, you need to open up your command prompt. So let me see this. Okay, yes, so what you need to do is click on Windows and open what we call PowerShell. Okay, it's just like your command prompt. You can also do this on command prompt. All right, so I'm going to open that again. PowerShell, right click, run as administrator, and this is it. You just need to type wsl --install right here. So because I've installed Linux on my operating system, I'm not going to get the option to install it like I was installing it from the scratch. But normally what it will ask you is username, password. Okay, username and password. Basically that is what you need to set. Okay, so now after WSL has been installed, you can now let me see, ways to run multiple Linux distro. Yeah, you can now start to install multiple Linux distros. Okay, so for me, I have Ubuntu installed already, and I also have Kali Linux installed, and so on and so forth. Okay, so again, you can actually come here. Let me just show you. Install Kali on WSL. Okay, so if I say install Kali on WSL, I can see Kali on WSL. Yeah, so set default version 2 Windows version. So yeah, so on the, you need WSL2. Okay, so on Microsoft Store, just click on it, and you will have the option of installing WSL. Go to Microsoft Store, Kali Linux, click install. Okay, launch clicking launch should finish installation of creating new user. Alright, so let me go to Microsoft Store, and then you see I already have this. Just click on download and it will download and you install. So once you install it, you have you have Kali Linux installed on your machine. All right, and once this is installed, you will now have this. So you see Kali Linux app. Okay, so I can click on it and this will open the Kali terminal. Right, this will open the Kali terminal. Now on this Kali terminal is where I will teach you how to use the Linux operating systems, all the commands you need to know when using Linux operating system, and explaining exactly how they work. Okay, the first command I will talk about is the command I call pwd. Okay, enter. Pwd command means print working directory, and it just tells you the location where you currently are. Okay, what if I know I am in this location, Kali dev? This is the location I am on my computer. What if I wanted to see other files that are in this Kali dev? Right, all you need to do is type ls. Okay, so the ls command will list the folders and files that are present in a particular path. All right, so I have my desktop as a folder, documents, downloads, music, pictures, public, templates, and videos. So these folders are currently present. Now what if I want to create another folder, but I want this folder to be inside my desktop or on my desktop folder right here? Okay, the first thing we need to do is switch into the desktop. Right, so to switch into the desktop folder, you use this command called cd. Cd means change directory, and all I need to do is type cd and type what? Desktop, like this. So if I hit enter, now you can see that I'm now on desktop. Now on desktop I can do ls and see that I actually have some folders. I've created a folder in there. I just created the folder business, and also I have another text file q1, but I'm going to actually delete the folder so that you will see how it's done. So let's say I want to delete this q1.txt, which is a text file I created previously and before recording this tutorial, so that I can have some files to work with. So I want to delete this file. I'm going to show you how to create a file, but let me first show you how to delete a file. Okay, so to delete a file, you use the rm command, and this rm is what we call as remove. Okay, so I want to remove q1.txt. Watch what is going to happen. So once I hit enter, you see that it does not tell me you have deleted the folder or not. It just moves on to the next command. Now watch, if I type ls again, you see this q1 is no longer available, which means only business folder is now there. So I'm going to teach you how to create a folder, how to create a file, and how to edit the file. So the next thing I want to do is create a folder. To create a folder, all you need to do is mkdir is the command and the name of the folder. So for example, instead of creating a folder, so I have a folder called business, right? The next thing I will create is what we call job. Okay, jobs, right? So I'm going to hit enter, and my screen is already getting full, so I want to clear it with this command called clear. Right, if I do ls once again, I have the new folder called jobs, right? And I can change directory into this jobs folder, right, and do enter. If I do ls in the job folder, you see I have nothing in there. Now let's create another folder called planning.txt, okay, or let's call it cv.txt. My cv is inside the jobs folder, for instance. So what I want to do is teach you now this command called touch. In touch, I will now say cv.txt. so this is my cv, and I've created it using the command touch. Now if I do ls, you see I now have cv.txt. Now this cv.txt, let's assume that I want to edit it and type my cv inside of it, and have my cv ready. I can simply do that using a text editor. So there are command line based text editors, just like you have Microsoft Word as a word processor, as an application, and you have Google Docs as an online based word processor. You also have command line or command line based text editors that you can use right here on your terminal. And one of such tool is called Nano, okay, and this Nano is user friendly. There is another one called Vim, which I will show you, but Nano is user friendly and easy. All you need to do is say Nano and the name of the file you want to edit. So this is the file. Nano has opened it up, and cv.txt is the file. So I can now start to type on it directly, and my name I will just say Innocent, and enter. We'll go to the next line, and job title, for instance, job title, and cybersecurity trainer. You see that? So I can location United States, you see. So I can write structure my CV and so on and so forth. Now when I want to save, you can see everything is right here to save, to exit and all. So I can do Control O, and enter is going to save. You see, so it says wrote 3 lines, and I can do Control X, and that will exit. Now how do I know that everything I typed into cv.txt has been saved? There is a command to actually view the content of a file, okay, and that command is what we call cat. Okay, so if I say cat and I say cv.txt like this, I have exactly what I typed in: name, job title, and location. Okay, so this is how you actually use the these commands, right? And let me just clear this and teach you more commands. Remember, if I want to know exactly where I am right now, I will just do pwd, and I'll know, oh, I am actually in the jobs folder. Wow, okay, ls, let's see, and ls, oh, okay, and the file I have here is cv.txt. What if I want to go back to desktop? I can just say cd and put dot. It means go back one step. Okay, if I put dot, it means go back one step. And if I'm still in jobs, change directory, dot means go back one step. Okay, so change directory dot slash will take me back one step, and you can see I'm now on desktop, right? And if I put print working directory, it now says I'm in desktop and not jobs. Look, at the beginning it said I'm in jobs, and now print working directory says you are on your desktop. If I do ls on my desktop, you see I have business and I have jobs. Okay, I have business and I have jobs. Now let's say I want to copy the CV folder into my business. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Clear. Okay, so I'm going to clear this. If I do ls and do business, I have a file called plan.txt in business. If I do ls and I do jobs, I have a file called cv.txt inside jobs folder. But now I want to copy cv.txt into my business folder. All right, so what you want to do is very simple. What you want to do is, I'm going to go into my jobs folder first and list. So I have cv.txt and I'm in the folder. So the command to copy a file is cp copy. Okay, and what I want to do is copy cv.txt into what? My business folder. So into, go back one step, and business. Okay, so that is what I want to do. So I'm copying CV into my business folder and enter. Now if I do ls and do business, watch this. You see, sorry, clear. I have to go back one step. Now I can do ls and do business. Now you see cv.txt is actually inside business. Let me even go into business like this and do just ls. So you see this, and if I do cat and do cv.txt, you can see that the file is actually inside business. So I've been able to copy it. All right, what if I want to move plan.txt? Now, not copy. Now I want to move plan.txt into my jobs folder. It's very simple. Okay, so all I need to do is use this command called move plan.txt. Okay, and I have to go back one step and locate what? Jobs. Finish. So if I do ls now on my business, which is what you see right here, I now have only cv.txt. But if I clear this and I go back one step into jobs, right? Sorry, I clear this, and let me clear that. I made a mistake. I didn't put space. And I go back one step into jobs. Now I can do ls, and see you have plan.txt and cv.txt. So I've shown you two commands: how to copy a file from one location to another location, and how to move a file from one location to another location. What if I am tired of my plan.txt file and I just want to delete it altogether? I don't want to move it, I want to delete it, right? The command that you use is called rm, or remove. Okay, remove. Remember, move is mv. Then if you want to delete something, it's what? Remove. So I'm going to remove plan.txt, enter. And now if I do ls, you see plan.txt is no more in this computer. It's no more in this computer. Now now there are a lot of commands in Linux that you will use, but I want to quickly touch on something that is very important, right? I may not recall all the commands that I should teach in this, but I mean, if you have other commands, you feel free to drop it in the comment section. But let me touch on something that is important that a lot of people tend to not understand when they are working with Linux, right? It's this command. I'll show you. If I do ls -l, watch this, and if I do ls -l and I do enter, you will see that I have this command, right? And a lot of people may not understand this, but let me show you another command. If I do ls-a, enter, you see ls-a gives me the hidden files that are available in a particular folder. So you see I have dot, then I have cv.txt, which -a means give me all the files including the hidden files that are available. Why -l means what? List, give me a complete list, right, of the permissions that are available in each of the files or the folders in this place, right? Give me a complete list. Okay, let me show you what, and I will explain what this means real quick. All right, now, but before I explain what it means, remember that we are currently in what? Which folder are we in? PWD. We are currently in jobs folder, right? So I'm going to cd out of jobs folder. I'm also going to cd, okay, let me leave it at desktop. So if I do ls right now, you see I have business and jobs, right? But now if I do ls dash what al, you see that I now have this, which is I have a combination of listing including the hidden files, but also giving me the permissions that they have. All right, and let us quickly unravel the mystery behind this. It's not really a mystery, it's very simple. Okay, so permit me to go into cd and go into my jobs folder, and let me just quickly create mkdir, another folder inside jobs called what, links, for instance. So if I do ls-al, you know what it will give me? It will give me this, right, which is the hidden files are displayed, and the text file and links also displayed. So let me explain what this is. Now I'm going to show, because I don't need the hidden files, I'm not talking about the hidden files now. Let me just do the ls-l. So it will not show the hidden files, it will only show these two files, cv.txt and links. Now what this means is, this first dash that you see in here, it means this is a file. It means Linux is simply telling you that this is a file, right? And then the first three things you see, 1, 2, 3 here, is simply telling you that the user has read, which is arrow, write, and does not have executable permissions. So what it means is we have three categories of users. The first one, we have the user, okay, then we have the group, then we have others. Okay, so these are the category of people that have access to your computer, right? The user, the first three represent the user, the next three here represents a group, and the next three here represents what? Other users, right? Now this is the first thing you need to understand. And of course, let me tell you, this first dash means we are dealing with a file. That's what the first dash means. Why this second, in the second line we have D. Can you see D? This D. It means we are dealing with a directory, right? So for arrow w dash is the permissions for the user, and it means this user has read write permission. So this user can read and write on this file. Can you see what it means? The user can read and write on the file. we can take away the permission to write and it will just be read, and I will do that shortly so that you will understand exactly what this thing means. Then we have the group. It means the group can read but cannot write and cannot execute commands. Execute means it can execute commands. For example, delete the file, right? That's what it means. Then we also have read. User can read, and then does not have write and does not have execute. You see that? For the second line, this is the D. The first D means it's a directory we are dealing with. Then this means the user can read, write, and execute. Here it means the group can read, it cannot write, but it can execute. And here others can read, they can't write, but they can execute. Okay, what effect does this have? We are currently logged in as the user, so let us take away write privilege from the user and see exactly what happens. Okay, so the command to add privilege or take away a privilege from a user is what we are calling chmod. Okay, chmod is the command to actually take away privilege or add privilege. So if I say chmod and I want to remove write privilege from user, I'm just going to say user minus what? Write. Can you see? Chmod user minus write for which file? cv.txt. Enter. And now I've succeeded in removing the write privilege for the user from this file. So what is there now is, if I now do ls-l once again, you see that now I have removed write privilege from user for this file, and now you see the user can no longer write. So let us try to write something on this cv.txt. Recall that I've actually removed the write privilege. So if I do nano, right, and I do space cv.txt, which means I want to edit this file and write something on it, but I have taken away the write privilege from the user. Now see, can you see the problem? File cv.txt is unwritable, so I can no longer write to the file. This is the concept known as what? Least privilege. That means people are only given permission, the permission they need to perform their duties. For example, if you only want a user to just be able to read a file, but you don't want them to be able to edit or write to the file, then you can take away the write privilege and maintain just read. If you don't want a user to be able to read a file, you can even take away the read privilege, right? And you know that this file is not accessible to this particular user. Okay, and I will still show you how to add a user. I will still show you how to what? Add a user. A very simple command that I'll show you, and you can add a user to your Linux operating system. Now, to perform some certain actions on Linux operating system, you need to be the root user. So there is a user called root user. It's just like when I opened the PowerShell the other time, can go to the video, and I use open as administrator. The same way you can actually have open this Linux terminal as the root user. But instead of that, because that poses some security concerns, so instead of opening it as the root user, you can just use a command called sudo. So I'm going to do Ctrl X so that I exit that nano. Remember, Ctrl O is to save, Ctrl X is to exit. Now let me restore the right privilege to the user, and all I need to do is use my arrow key to locate the command. Okay, this was the command I used to remove the right privilege. Now to restore the right privilege, instead of minus, I'll change this to what? Plus, like this. Okay, so if I say plus and I do the text like this, and if I do ls now, sorry, let me clear the whole screen. If I do ls-l, you see now I have my right privilege back. So this is how you can add. So now if I go back and I do nano and I do cv.txt, then you see it's reading 3 lines, but I can come and I can what? Add another line. I can edit this file now. So let's add something quickly. I love teaching cybersecurity. Okay, so once I'm done with adding my new line, then I can do what? Control O, and I can do control what? Enter, and control X. So I've saved that. So let's look at the file now and see. So cat is the command that you use to check the content of a file. So I can do cat cv.txt, enter, and you see now I have name, job title, location, and the new file I just entered. All right, now let us try to add a user to my system. Okay, so if we want to add a user, remember I have Kali Dev as one user. I want to add another user, so I will just use this command called user add. Okay, and if I say user add, the next thing I need to do is type the name of the user I want to add. I want you to watch what's going to happen. So I will just call this Batman, enter. Now watch what happens. It says user add, permission denied, cannot lock dash etc dash password, try again later. You see, the reason is denying me permission to add a user is because I am not authorized to add a user without being the root. Okay, you have to have the root privilege. Only root account can add a user. So there are two ways. I can either log in as root user, okay, instead of logging in as root user, which poses security challenge, because if I log in as the root user, a hacker can locate my computer, gain access to the root user, and do some bad some harmful stuff to my computer. But I will not log in as the root user. There is another command to bypass that. So if I say sudo is giving temporal root privileges to the current user, if I add the word sudo, okay, so if I say sudo user add and I say Batman, enter, now it's telling me password for Kali Dev. So I have to add my password. Remember, when you are installing your distro, it will ask you for a password. So again, you can't see my password, but yes, I've actually added the user, okay, to the system. So it has successfully added the user to my system. /etc/p like this, right? So these will actually list the users that are available on my computer. So you can go through this and you will see Kali Dev, you will see root, and if you keep going, you will definitely see the new user I created. Okay, so this is Kali Dev, and let's use a command, and the command is going to be grep and search for Batman inside this etc/. password like this. Yeah, so you can see, so this grep command actually searches for things. So if I do /Batman, you can see it's showing me this user right now. So what if we want to log into this Batman user? All you need to just do is say su and Batman, enter, and it will ask you for the password, and I'll put the password I use. I think I've missed the password. Let me just see. Authentication. So let's say sudo su Batman. Okay, so this is it, and yeah. So that's how you create a user and how you can switch between different users, really. So let's recap and go over some of the commands we used. We used the ls, we used where's my pipe? Okay, we used ls, we used pwd, we used cd command, I can remember, we used chmod, we used what other command? We used the copy command, we used move command, we used the remove command, we used the grep to search for a file. What other command? And yeah, we created a user. Okay, user, add, and all the other command that we used. So this is a very short or long session on how you can understand Linux. Now if you want to understand further, there are a whole loads of sites out there that will teach you Linux. This is just like a beginner friendly introduction to Linux, and I hope that you keep on learning. If you know you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification, because I want to be making more of the tutorial videos on cybersecurity, Linux programming, and things like that. So thank you guys for your support. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.